Okay, welcome back. And again, my name is Brian. I'm work for Robodyssey. And so what I'm going to do right now is show you how to get the RAMB T3 to be able to receive some analog data. To do that, first thing is, of course, you have to have your RAMB T3 running, and we did that last video. It's hooked up to the USB port. It's receiving its power from there. It's flashing its light once per second, which is how we left it last time. So now what we want to do is we want to be able to actually receive some data to be able to think about building robots and such. So the first thing we have to do, let's go ahead and launch again the Arduino software. And I will do that. We should get a nice clean slate. Yep, there we go. Nice clean sketch. So if this is the first time, which it may well be for you, we need to also make sure that everything's communicating properly so we can receive signals from the serial port on the Teensy 3.0. The easiest way to do that is go to the Start menu and then right-click. You can actually try this without, but in case you have any problems, it's good to know how to do it. Right-click on the on Computer, and then go to Properties. And from here, you can see Device Manager. It's a good idea to make sure that you know exactly which serial channel it's using to communicate with your computer. What I do then is go to Ports, and lo and behold, you should see this USB serial communication. It's on port 22. Just remember that. Yours will probably be different. Mine has moved as I've played with it for so long. So let's go ahead and set this up. What I want to do is I want to point out, this is a very important fact. If we look at the RAMB T3 with the Teensy 3.0 plugged into it, you're going to see that on the right side of the board we have these A values, A0, A1, A2 on up. It's perhaps counterintuitive, but the very first port, A0, is down here. It's the second column of pins in this orientation from what I would consider to be the bottom of the board, A0. I'm going to now plug in a sharp sensor. I'll hold it up here. This is a sharp range finder. It has an infrared light that emits from it, and it triangulates the reflected light to figure out distance. I'm going to plug it in. Notice there are three colored wires. Okay, the red or the orange. Oh, I got this stupid avast thing. Hold on. The red or the orange is going to be the signal. The brown or the black is going to be ground. The brown or the black needs to go closest to this female bus right here. The red or the orange needs to go closest to the chip. I'm going to plug it into I need glasses. I'm going to plug it into the A0 port like so. And what's actually kind of cool, let me pick this up. See that? You actually can't see that with your naked eye. That's an infrared light. It shows up very nicely in digital cameras. It's lighting it up very vividly. So let's now go to some code. I'm going to paste some code over here into my sketch. the first thing that you see that I've done is I've set this up. I said, wait a second, let me make sure I got everything. Yep. Okay. I set this up. I have to set a serial port. I need to be able to define a port to communicate with my computer. I can set the baud rate, the rate that the information comes from the Teensy to my computer. 38,400 is a nice sort of default value that works really well. I once again have declared a variable. I called it value. I mean, how exciting is that? I can call it whatever I want. Maybe I should change it. Let's call it value 0. Okay, I'm just going to add that because we're going to hook it up to analog port 0. And now we're in the loop section here. So we've got our loop. It's going to go round and round and round and round forever. I'm going to change that to value 0 is analog read port 0 because I am plugged into A0. And then for here, I can actually put a little bit of information so that I can see what's actually happening. I'm going to print out of that serial port, so it should show up on my computer. I want it to say that A0 pin value is equal to whatever it is. And I'm going to add to that the serial print. Now, in this case, I've added the two characters ln. In other words, I want it to rotate to a new line. I can show you what happens if we don't. The value of the variable value 0, which it gets off that pin, and then I want to do it twice a second, 500 millisecond intervals. So I'm hooked up. I've got my sharp sensor connected, as you can see right there. And I'm going to upload it. And once again, you should see the Teensy software pop up in a second. In a very long second. There we go. I'm going to push the button because it's been off for a while here. We'll activate it. Reboot is okay. Now, you say, hey, what's going on? Nothing's happening. Well, it's because I now have to activate the serial window so I can see the data coming through. There's two ways to do that. One is I can go to Tools. I can then go to Serial Monitor and click on it. Or as you can see, I can hit Control-Shift-M. I'm sort of a keyboard guy myself, so I'm going to hit Control-Shift-M. And lo and behold, I now have some data, which is popping up. I'll make it a little bit smaller so we can all see it. And I'm going to put my sensor so it's pointing straight up. I'll put my hand over it. You can see the value changes quite a bit. Put my hand over it, goes up 600, 200. You can see that. Let me see if I can get this in a better position. It's going to look a little funny. I'm going to lift it up here off the board. And you can probably watch the data change as I move my hand to and fro. All right, pull my hand away, drops down. My hand up, get a value of 360, 480, 510, da, da, da. So from this, I can actually make some quantitative measurements of how far away my robot is from whatever obstacle it may need to be avoiding. And as I promised, let's just do something simple. Let's say, oh darn, I forgot to put that ln, that new line command. I'll go ahead and run it. And you can see it's now loaded. And remember that command, it's Control-Shift-M. And now I've got a piece of serial data which is coming out on, which is just really, really hard to read. It's very, very, well, it's just one long line. So let's put that line back in so that we don't have to deal with these problems, and it gives it a new line every single time. Notice I didn't have to hit the button either. It just automatically loads it. For as long as it's connected, it's going to reboot automatically. It's done, and Control Shift, and voila, we now have our data, which is popping up, and I've got some nice numbers. Probably can't all see that, but there you go. So I hope this was helpful, and now we'll move on to probably making servos go. So I will see you soon. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.